Hi, today we're going to do a test weight assessment for wheat. It doesn't matter what cereal that we do the test weight for, we do the same technique for all of the cereals. So the first thing that we're going to do is we get our bucket, and remembering that we've had a few probes out of the truck, and so this grain is laid in there, so we need to make sure that we mix it up very well first. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that smaller material from the bottom up through and make sure that it's mixed all the way through that sample. So the way that we do that is that we put our hand in the bucket, and as we bring that grain up, we rotate it so that it's mixed all the way through the layers of the bucket. So therefore we've got a well mixed sample. So then we get our half litre measure, we put it on our balance, and the balance, the same as all of your equipment, needs to be certified. So this is certified that it's a half litre measure. The balance also needs to be verified that it is reading correctly. So we put it on there and we tear it off so that it now reads 0. We then get our height guide, which again is verified to be the appropriate height guide for this piece of equipment. Get our cutter bar, and on this particular unit we put our cutter bar into the test weight assessment before we do the analysis. We then get our sample out of our bucket that we've mixed up, and we commence to pour. So we rest it on the top of the height guide, and it's a gentle steady pour, not too fast, not too slow. It should take roughly 16 to 18 seconds. We pour it in until it reaches the very top and you get a slight bit of overflow. That doesn't matter. That is why I use a white tray on the bottom there to try and capture any of that spillage. We then get the cutter bar and we pull it out really quickly, so you hear that thump of the grain as it hits the bottom. Then we put the cutter bar back in to push it all the way through. Takes a little bit of effort, so we use the palm of our hand, make sure that our fingers are not in the way there. Push it all the way through until you hear a crack, although that time it didn't crack. You then pick it all up, crack it like an egg, and there we have, make sure we've got it all out, there we have our half litre measurement. Put it on our balance, and it now weighs 399 grams. We divide that by 5, which means that our test weight is 79.8 kilograms per hectolitre. And that's our assessment for test weight. A couple of things before we finish off though. This particular unit that I have here is where you start the test and you've got the cutter bar in the unit. For some which have a smaller test weight unit, i.e. the half litre measure is a little bit shorter, you may have the height guide a little bit shorter. For that one, calibrate it against the reference chondrometer. This cutter bar is not in there when you start the test. Doesn't matter which type of unit you use, as long as it's calibrated against that reference chondrometer. The other thing is that you'll notice that when I did the test, I set it all up so that I didn't have to move it around. So when I'm pouring the grain in there, I'm not shaking, I'm not moving around. Once I finish the test and I grab the cutter bar, I'm not moving it around, twisting around like that, etc., because that will compact some of that grain in the height guide and will alter the test. So you need to make sure when you're doing this test that you're keeping it as steady as you can. Have your hand on the top there when you're pouring. Have your hand on the top there also when you're pulling that cutter bar out. And that's how we do a test weight. Fairly simple test, but it is a really important one. So thank you.